Hello, it's time to trip the light fantastic with another episode of Laurice's Far Out Kitchen. Has to work third shift, he comes home wanting dinner, but for the rest of us, it's breakfast. So I'm going to compromise by making a bacon-wrapped roast beef hash egg muffin sandwich. And it only takes about 30 minutes to put together. 1 can of roast beef hash makes 4 sandwiches. So we'll also need 4 slices of American cheese, and I like to use the cheese from the deli, along with 4 eggs, 4 strips of partially cooked bacon. Now we want to cook this bacon in a pan just until it starts to render its fat. We don't want it to be crisp or else we're not going to be able to wrap it around these sandwiches. We're also going to need 4 English muffins. These are going to go in the toaster before we put the sandwich together. If you want to make this for breakfast, just be sure to put the roast beef hash in the refrigerator the night before. If this was an old school can, we could have cut off the bottom and just pushed it out. Come out. All right. Okay, so we're going to carefully cut this into 4 pieces. We're going to wrap these in bacon, and because the bacon has a tendency to come apart in the oven, we're just going to put a toothpick in there to hold it all secure. These are going on the baking sheet that I've covered with this non-stick aluminum foil. And remember, the matte side is the non-stick side. The egg is very easy to make. I've just got a little bit of bacon fat in here from pre-cooking the bacon. I'm just going to add in my 1 scrambled egg. And we're going to cook it like a crepe by making sure it goes all over the whole pan because we want this to be thin. And then I'm just going to barely season this. It's very easy to over-season eggs. Now we're going to let this cook until it's pretty much set on top. Okay, we can turn this over. Let's try to turn it over in 1 piece. And this is going to cook in about 10 seconds. Okay, I've turned the heat off. We don't want to overcook eggs. Now I'm just going to fold this into a triangle, also like a crepe. And we're going to place our bacon wrapped roast beef hash on top. That's very hot. And top this with our slice of American cheese. Let's give this sandwich a taste. And I do know it's messy. And I know it's hot too. Okay. Oh. Mmm. Mmm. Bacony. After that hearty sandwich, we'd all like something a little sweet with our coffee. So I'm making chocolate dipped coconut macaroons. Now they do take a little bit longer, but they are worth it. For our coconut macaroons, we'll need 14 ounces of sweetened, flaked, or shredded coconut. We'll use this entire bag. And remember, coconut is measured by weight, not by volume. We're also going to need sweetened condensed milk. Now, sweetened condensed milk and evaporated milk are not the same thing. The most popular brand of sweetened condensed milk is, of course, Eagle. So make sure that it says sweetened condensed milk. We'll probably only be using about 5 to 6 ounces of this. We're also going to need a little bit of vanilla, about a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and 2 extra large egg whites. And we will be dipping this in chocolate at the end. So I have some semi-sweet chocolate chips that will be melting. Most importantly, we'll be cooking this on parchment paper. Now, parchment paper and wax paper are not the same thing. Wax paper cannot go in the oven. It burns at very low temperatures, and you'll never get your coconut macaroons off of there because they're so sticky. So even though it's more expensive, just make sure that you're using parchment paper. So let's put these coconut macaroons together. We're separating these eggs first, and remember, 1 sharp wrap on a flat surface. That'll keep you from pulverizing your shell. Now, you can either use the shell to separate these, which I'll do. Okay, so we just use the shell to separate it, and that's fine, although sometimes sharp edges can cause this yolk to break. Or, oops, or you can use your hand, which I like better. Actually, this is the perfect size for separating yolks because this is a perfect yolk size, but there. And then the white just falls through your fingers and you don't have to worry about breaking this yolk. We're adding our 1/4 teaspoon of salt to these egg whites, and then we're just going to whip these to stiff peaks. Okay, you can clearly see this is stiff peaks. So we'll start with our teaspoon of vanilla. And then we're gonna pour in only enough of this sweetened condensed milk to just allow this to hold together. And there are still probably gonna be some stray coconut flakes. We will probably use about 6 ounces. Maybe a little bit less. We want to use enough so that all of the coconut has at least a little bit of sweetened condensed milk on it. Otherwise, it'll be very eggy flavored when you put in the beaten egg whites. Okay, probably just a tiny bit more. And then we're going to fold in the egg whites half at a time. Okay, this looks good. It's not completely holding together, although if I squeezed it, it would probably hold together in a ball. All right, let's get these egg whites in here. And we just want to fold these in gently. It's not really as bad as, say, an angel food cake, but we don't want to completely deflate these egg whites. I have my oven preheated to 325 degrees, and these are going in for 25 to 30 minutes. And you stop them when they get as brown as you like them. I like them a little more toasty, so I'm gonna bake them for 28 minutes. If you like them less toasty, start with 25 minutes. I have my baking sheet covered with this parchment paper, and remember, you cannot use wax paper. Wax paper should never go under heat. It can catch fire at very low temperatures. I've also got a 2 tablespoon disher. This is a number 40 disher, and this is the size that our macaroons are going to be. And we want these in here, and we don't want a lot of macaroon on the outside, otherwise it's hard to dip. And it's okay if you compress these. We're not worried too much about the egg white collapsing. Okay. And this should make about 20 macaroons. So macaroons do not spread or puff up when they bake. We're just setting this cookie. So whatever size they are, that's the size they're going to be. And so you can place them fairly close together on the sheet. Just press any stray coconut back onto the cookie. We need to let these macaroons cool completely before we dunk them in chocolate. We're only going to be dipping the very bottom of these macaroons, so I'm using only about half of this bag of semi-sweet chocolate chips. And I am melting them in my brand new microwave oven. This chocolate is nicely melted and smooth, so we can just dip the macaroons in here. And I've got it in this shallow bowl because we don't want these dipped too far down. Just give this a twist. Okay. And then it can just set back down. If you make and eat macaroons on the same day, they're nice and crisp. If you put them in a bag overnight, they get soft and chewy. So let's give these macaroons a taste. And I know they're crisp because I just made them. Oh. That chocolate. Delicious. If you don't want cookies, we can always have a dessert cocktail. And the Pink Squirrel is the perfect combination of sweet and creamy. The Pink Squirrel is an easy cocktail to make. The ratios are just 1 to 1 to 1. The more important thing is that you get a good quality creme de noisette. The cheaper brands are just almond extract and food coloring, whereas the more expensive brands are made from the mashed kernels from apricot, cherry, and peach pits. You're also going to need a white creme de cacao or this drink is going to look terrible. Speaking of which, I think it looks best served in a coupe or a dessert goblet rather than a traditional cocktail glass. So let's shake ourselves a cocktail. I like this as a 4.5 ounce drink, so I'm using 1.5 ounces of everything. creme de noisette. The white creme de cacao. And the heavy cream. All right, this is all going over ice. Put this down in here. You're gonna shake vigorously. Okay. And then I'm gonna strain this into my coupe here. And I'm gonna top it with a maraschino cherry. Let's give this a taste. It smells like a cherry pie. It is so good. I'm gonna be drinking lots of these tonight.